The following is a presentation of TFNN. It is now time for Living a Primal Lifestyle with your host, Nico de Haan. And now, here's Nico de Haan.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle. I'm your host, Nico de Haan, and it's Friday, June 15th, 2012. It's time to talk about your health, fitness, and diet. My call-in number is 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join our show. Our international number is 727-445-1044. Please subscribe to my Health Signals newsletter. Issue 12 is out today. By signing up, you receive 2 issues each month for only $10 a month. Now, you receive these the new issues on the first and third Friday of each and every month. You get it free for 30 days, and, of course, you may cancel your subscription at any time. If you want information about the Primal Diet, how to remain healthy and fit, this is the newsletter for you. My email address is nico@tfnn.com if you have any questions or comments. Hope everybody is feeling great in the chat room, streaming live on the internet, on Tagger TV, and on the radio. And it's sunny and about 82 degrees here. Says it's going to rain a little bit this afternoon, but it's a beautiful day in downtown Clearwater. Now, I have a special guest today. He is Lucian Randolph. Now, Lucian is a practicing roboticist, a biophysicist, and a biochemical engineer. He's also a research fellow and senior strategic analyst for a private science think tank. Now, his primary specialty is high technology and bleeding-edge science. He has also been called a polymath and a futurist, but he says that just means he's hopeful. He recently is the creator of the Freedom Contract Party. Now, that's a new movement in American politics, really designed to circumvent the mainstream political process. Now, in addition to publishing different things, he's a founder. He's got several companies that use his technologies, and he's also been independently contracted to invent and develop really some of the most advanced robotic equipment on the planet. Lucian has authored many different technical tomes, and they're not available to the public, but he also authored a series of science fiction novels which are published on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and on the Apple iBook Store. His website is lucian.tv, and you can follow him on Google+. Lucian, welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Nico.
My pleasure. And Lucian is a good friend of mine, too, and he saved my life once. So, I mean, this guy is into everything, so I'm really, really glad to have him on the program. Now, when we talked last week, you were talking about something totally new with distributing food. So what is going on here?
One of my current projects, one of my current projects has to do with our food supply.
Yeah.
And I was tasked, it's part of the normal type of things that I do, I get asked to come up with solutions to difficult problems, and I was tasked with the solution of how to feed, 1,000 men in the middle of the desert with no incoming supplies. And after I solved that problem, I realized that this was a solution that might be useful for our own food production supply, because many people don't realize that our food supply is very intimately connected to our oil supply. And in fact, the way we grow food today is not the same way we grew food even 100 years ago.
True.
And the techniques that we use and the chemicals and the way that we grow food today basically started after World War II, when we secured a long-term supply of relatively inexpensive oil. But after 70-plus years or so, that supply is running a little low. And oil is involved in every aspect of the way we make food today. I like to joke, it's not really a joke, but there's only 2 types of farmers in the country. There's big farmers, and then there's hobby farmers. the idea of a small farmer that's able to make a living off the land by providing food, that's mostly an extinct career. And the reason for that has to do with the idea of how we do it. From everything from the machines that put the seeds in the ground or run on oil, the machines that spray water and spray fertilizer run on oil, the fertilizer itself comes from oil, any types of insecticides, those come from oil, the machines that put them out run on oil, the harvesting of food runs on oil, packaging, boxing, putting it on trucks which run on oil, and then the trucks go to trains which run on oil and take the trucks someplace else where they go back on the street and they deliver them to grocery stores where you and I go in our cars which run on oil and pick up our groceries. There's oil in every single step, and the truth is that because of the dwindling supply of oil, food prices just in the United States since the year 2000 have risen between 200 and 300%, and that's for the staple item goods, which are one of the foundations of our economic indicators.
Yeah.
So the truth is that the way we grow vegetables and distribute them in food and distribute it is not going to be supportable without a cheap supply of oil. And if that cheap supply of oil goes away, then we're going to have to come up with another idea, which is why I was tasked with the original concept by the military. And so what it means is that the idea of growing food in a centralized, large, manufacturing plant type place like we do it now, and then distributing it all over the country, that model is not going to be able to work anymore. And in fact, it doesn't work really now. We grow enough food globally to feed everybody. We just can't get it around everywhere before it goes bad.
Right.
And in the United States, that's slowly starting to become an issue. Like I said, staple goods have risen by 200 to 300% since the year 2000. And the way the analysis works is if oil gets to the point where it raises in price, and from that comes $10 a gallon gas, then the prices of food at the grocery store are going to dramatically increase.
Sure.
And someday, we don't like to think about it, but someday oil is going to rise up to the point where gas might be $20 a gallon. And if that happens, then there may not be any more overweight people in the country because we may all be starving.
The solution is solved right there, all our obesity.
It's not the best way to go about doing it, but it might happen if we don't change the way we grow and distribute food. Now, fortunately, there's been a movement to buy local. In fact, even the big chefs on the one on television says, buy local, buy fresh. And we're in Florida, where we have a grocery store chain, Publix, that has made a public commitment to buying local. And we all know that there's an organic market that's trying to make better foods that are less chemical based. But the truth is that none of these things are going to work if we continue to generate the majority of our food from elsewhere and then try to ship it. So my idea was to take the technology that I developed for the military and see if I can't use it, like McDonald's, to create a franchise of small farms that are capable of operating on only 5 acres. Mm-hmm. And on that 5 acres, they're capable of running a completely self-contained food factory, a pharmaceutical-grade food factory, essentially, using a combination of technologies that have actually been developed now for decades. We've done what's called aquaculture, raising fish in ponds, for quite a long time. We've gotten very good at it. We now can do it in what's called a recirculating aquaculture system, which has no discharge and is done in sealed tanks or ponds. And we're combining that with a hydroponic system, which is one of the most efficient methods of growing plants. And together that's called an aquaponic system. Now, this in itself isn't a brand new idea either. There's been a lot of places around the world that have tried to develop these systems because they're very useful. If you connect a fish pond together with a hydroponic system, it actually takes the food out of both systems. The fish poop and the leftover fish feed, which is very inexpensive, will actually be converted into materials that feed the plants directly, and the water is purified by the plants to be given back to the fish. So it creates a closed circle system. and it's extremely efficient. It's very similar to what you find in nature at the bottom of a waterfall.
Yeah.
And where fish may be in a lake at the top or the river at the top, and then the water tumbles over the waterfall and purifies it at the and at the bottom of it you have an extremely fertile plain that grows plants really well. So that's basically what we've done, is we've created a system of small farming where if you had 5 acres of land, you could put a farm on there that would be capable of generating in a very reasonable market, selling vegetables and even selling the fish that we use or that we use to create the plant food. That's actually a product as well, and you can produce anywhere from 800,000 to 1 million pounds of food a year.
Wow!
And you can actually generate $2.5 to $3 million off of one of these plants, and this is based on the current prices, wholesale prices for certified organic produce, which is what we produce. In fact, we beat the heck out of certified organic.
Wow.
We'll almost dominate the organic market, which would give us a nice foothold into the business, because the large food producers have accepted the idea that the organic market's here to stay.
Yeah, I would say that's really true, because even the big markets are getting into the whole, just like Publix has their GreenWise section. In fact, they do have some GreenWise stores that are just full stores that are GreenWise.
Exactly, and Publix has 800 stores in the state of Florida, and there's and like I said, they've made a commitment to buying locally. There's just not enough small farmers to actually supply all of those stores. That's one of the problems, because if you're supplying just regular produce that's grown outside, that you have to use fertilizer, you have to use insecticides, that doesn't generate an enormous income, because those are relatively cheap. They're also not that great for you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things about our system, is that Americans love fish. We eat a lot of it. It's the third highest commodity import, below only oil and coffee, our other two favorite things.
Yeah, no kidding.
And but the problem is that this imported fish, less than 2% of it is inspected by the FDA, and it's grown in places that are not notoriously good about maintaining, clean growing or food environments.
Right.
And now, of course, we've got problems in the Gulf. The Gulf fisheries appear to have collapsed after the oil disaster a couple of years ago, and 24% of the seafood that the United States would eat came in through New Orleans through the Gulf fisheries, and that's not happening anymore. So there's a big need in the United States for fish, and we're getting it from other places. And even the fish that's sold in high-end markets like the Whole Foods markets, there's 18 of those in Florida.
Wow. We're going to take a break, Lucian, and so we're going to continue this right after the break. Folks, you can call me at 877-927-6648. Talk to Lucian, talk to myself, pick up my Health Signals newsletter, and you'll be all set. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Stock market corrections are the number one reason that a buy and hold investment strategy produces the poorest results, and I have 73 years of data that proves it. Now, the good thing about economic difficult times is that the worst economy can produce the best rewards in the shortest period of time. In fact, during the last 130 years, 61% of that time period has been spent in recession. And if you're one of the 70% of American households relying on their 401ks and IRAs for retirement, you need the single strategy that is bulletproof against the turmoil of our stock markets. Go to the homepage at TFNN.com. Under Breaking News, click on Success is a Numbers Game to receive this must-have free report. This bulletproof strategy may be days away from giving the next signal. Don't neglect your retirement, and don't neglect this signal. If you're even a little bit interested in accumulating wealth, providing a better life for you and your family, then go to TFNN.com to order your free copy of Success is a Numbers Game today. Implement the disciplines contained in this report, and success will be yours for the taking.
Kate Stalter's exciting newsletter, Low Priced Leaders, has just launched, and now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial. Every Wednesday afternoon, Kate sends out her weekly newsletter to her subscribers where she focuses on small cap stocks with market caps under $2 billion, as well as low-priced equities with share prices ranging from $5 to $12. Kate tracks a variety of stocks with a combination of strong technical support and solid fundamentals. Many of the stocks featured will be recent IPOs. These newer issues are often some of the biggest price gainers in the market and provide an excellent opportunity for substantial gains if timed correctly. You can catch Kate Stalter live on Tiger TV with her Small Cap Roundup every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and visit TFNN.com right now to get your 2-week free trial to her brand new newsletter, Low Priced Leaders, while locking in the low introductory monthly rate of only $37.50 per month, almost a 50% discount. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. I'm talking to Lucian Randolph, and you can check out his website at lucian.tv on the World Wide Web. And Lucian, we have a caller on the line, and it's Garo from Orange County. He has some questions for you about potassium and magnesium. Garo, how are you doing today?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. What can we do for you?
I need your opinion regarding potassium and magnesium. Do you take it personally? And if you agree on the supplement, and how much daily use, or you don't believe in it at all?
No, of course, I take supplements, but our show is really geared right now to Lucian Randolph. You have a question for him?
I'm terribly sorry. I didn't know that. Probably I'll call you next week.
That'll be great, and I'll answer those questions for you then, Garo. Thanks a lot.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Lucian, so we were talking. You're in the midst of looking at this from a franchise standpoint.
Yes, I think that the reason we're trying to do that is that there's a lot of people who've tried to make systems like this work that are capable of providing, food as an alternative source. The problem is that, for lack of a better word, they're all kind of hippie. It's mostly about the idea of people in communities growing their own food, which is a great idea, but in the United States of America, it's unlikely that those sorts of things are going to take off on a large scale. People like to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And grocery stores can be supported. They just can't be supported if they get the majority of their food in the future from long distances away, because when oil raises that price too far, they just won't be able to support that model. But that doesn't mean that they can't support the model of a local grocery store that's supplied by local growers. That's basically what my idea is. But in order to be able to supply food at that level, at the institutional level, you've got to be consistent, and that's really where the idea of a franchise works. McDonald's works because it's consistent, as well as it's in the greatest spots you could ever be, and that's exactly what we need to be.
Sure. Well, being on only 5 acres of land, that really puts you just about anywhere you want.
Exactly. If we can put these things within 10 to 20 miles of large, metropolitan areas, then we can easily keep our distribution costs so far down that we're not really adding any carbon load there. And in fact, if we produce our own biofuels, which is our plan from the waste products that we produce, then we wouldn't have any carbon additions from our distributions, and we could support that because we don't have to distribute hundreds of miles or thousands of miles to reach the stores.
Now, let me ask you a question. Since this was brought out into the military, how fast can a program like this be instituted?
Well, part of what the military's requirements were that it had to be fast. If you start one of these plants up from scratch, it'll begin to produce food 60 to 90 days later, produce, and it'll begin to harvest fish 6 months later.
Wow.
And it produces, you can produce virtually any vegetable, any fruit, but the ones that grow the best also happen to be the ones that are probably the best for you. We can grow grains, but they're not really efficient to do that. It's more efficient to grow real vegetables,
and they're a lot better for you.
Real roots, real tubers, the sorts of vegetables that are basically the kind that are good for you, as opposed to the other types of things that you can grow just so you can feed an animal.
You're right.
Now, the advantage to the fish is that we could literally produce enough fish that we could offer fish to Americans at a much larger rate than they're currently consuming it, which is a big rate. But people are afraid of eating a lot of fish. I just checked the stats this morning. I mean, in the state of Florida, from the year 2005 to 2010, there were 89 confirmed mercury poisoning cases, and all of them, virtually all of them, came from eating seafood. That's more than one a month.
Yeah. And if you see the pictures from the Gulf that they're coming out with now, I mean, that's scary enough right there.
You don't want to. You cannot eat a wild-caught fish that came from a natural body of water without it having mercury in it. That's just a fact.
Sure.
And the truth is that we're not even the biggest producers. China's the biggest producer of mercury in our waters because they burn the stuff that goes into the air. It circulates around the planet, and rain brings it down. Our system is going to be different, though, because we're growing our fish in special tanks that are like crystal clear running rivers. So our fish are constantly swimming. They're in water that is purified. In fact, we don't use any water source. We capture the water out of the air, and then it goes through a tremendous filtration system, and then we use that water. So we pull out everything that could be in it, mercury, everything.
Beautiful.
And they're swimming in water that they would never have in nature.
Sure. Okay, we're going to take another break here, Lucian, and then we got a nice long segment coming up, so stick around. You folks stick around, too. 877-927-6648 is our call-in number, and please pick up my new Health Signals newsletter. I've got a new one on the board right now, so check it out, please. Be right back.
Would you like a personal update from Tom O'Brien as to what equities he's trading and what his daily trading plan is before the market opens each morning? Every market day, Tom O'Brien sends out his daily newsletter, Market Insights, to hundreds of subscribers that rely on his daily recommendations when it comes to navigating these highly volatile markets we're dealing with. As recently as May 21st, Market Insights subscribers closed out all 5 open positions for a combined profit of over 68% in one day. Profits ranged from 6.5% to over 24%, and all of these trades had been initiated within the previous 30 days. Now is the perfect time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's explosive trading newsletter, Market Insights, an $85 value. Tom breaks down the market each morning with his market take and provides trade recommendations including precise stops and target profit zones, leaving nothing left to guessing. Log on to TFNN.com today and sign up for your 2-week free trial. Make sure you're a subscriber the next time Market Insights subscribers close out multiple winning trades. Take action and sign up for your free trial today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when temporary market spikes move against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the advantage of keeping your trades open even when the market temporarily spikes against you. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique short-term binary options that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the Rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle. The number here is 877-927-6648. If you'd like to join us, a reminder that my new Health Signals newsletter, issue 12, is out. I'd like you to pick that up. Go to the TFNN site and look under newsletter. You'll find Health Signals. It's free for 30 days, and then it's only $10 a month for 2 issues each month. Our shows are archived on TFNN.com, on iTunes, and the video feeds are featured on LivingAPrimalLifestyle.com. Now, Lucian Randolph has some books that he's published. I've read a couple of them. These are the Ancients of Earth series, and you can find them on Amazon, on Barnes & Noble, on the iTunes bookstore. The first one is The God in the Clear Rock. The second one I read was The Hole in the Magic Shield, and he has a new one out called The Empty Eggs of Burning Light. Great adventure series, and I recommend them to everybody. So, Lucian, you're still writing like crazy, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I've got 3 more novels that I'll finish before the end of the year. I'm almost finished with the one I'm currently working on right now.
It's amazing how you pour these things out.
Well, I've been wanting to get this series done for a while, and I'm finally motivated to make it happen. I'm surprised too. I've gotten quite a bit of nice response from people.
So. Yeah. I love the first two books. They were just very fascinating, glued to the chair, very adventurous, high tech, and the ancients mixed in. I love it.
Well, the third one is the one you really need to read then, because this is the one that the ancients are really featured in this one, and it starts the action starts to pick up big time. The reviews on the third one have been really incredible.
Oh, great. Well,
I'll definitely like the third one. And the fourth one will be out soon. So.
Oh, good. Okay, let's get back to the food system now. Now, you were mentioning that 3 months to 6 months, this whole thing is running with the vegetables and the fish.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much food does this produce?
Well, it's designed to produce food daily. So it produces 750 at full operation. It produces 750 pounds of fish per day. And about 15,000 pounds of produce per day.
Wow.
And, and now the fish, of course, are whole fish. So about half of the tilapia, we use a special Nile tilapia that's the kind that everyone likes to eat.
Uh-huh.
So about half of that is what you'll yield of 135,000 pounds of actual high-quality, pharmaceutical-grade, pure tilapia per year. And that's about 370 or 360 something pounds per day, which is enough to supply, several restaurants, a couple of grocery stores with, a really fresh product. We can also grow, and we're going to experiment with. You can raise pretty much any fish, saltwater or freshwater. Right now, in order to make the business viable, we're growing the things that have the highest value.
Sure.
But you can grow anything. There's a company, and again, that's what's unique about what we're doing. A lot of people and companies are trying to do this. There's a group out in Hawaii that's the most successful group that's doing it, but obviously in Hawaii you can see why. But there's a big group up in New York that's planning on putting a 100,000 square foot facility on top of skyscrapers. Now, their model's different from mine, though, because they're making the deals directly with the grocery stores. And my model is that I would rather generate an ability for a small business, something a husband and wife used to be able to do, like with the farm.
Yeah.
This model employs 20 people when it's up and running at minimum. And it's very reasonably built around producing a fully functional food factory. This is not a farm in the traditional sense of the word, because we literally, the way it's built is it produces food every single day. There's no growing season.
I see.
And we do that by enclosing all of the growing area. We have 50,000 square feet of greenhouse on that 5 acres. Mm-hmm. We have a 30,000 square foot building that houses all of the fish runs, and we also grow shrimp and crabs and other things that are very expensive. And then we have a half-acre solar farm that drives the whole thing.
Wow.
So the goal here is for it to be completely disconnected from the grid, the electrical grid, and we use specialized equipment that pulls water, as I said earlier, directly out of the air. So we don't take groundwater, we don't take water from a lake, there's no effuse and no refuse. Everything is completely recycled.
That is amazing. Now, you can pull water out of the air just about anywhere?
Well, yeah, we use a technology that was developed to basically suck water directly out of the air. It's driven by it can be driven by anything, but it's driven by a windmill. And we set up a pilot program behind Abu Dhabi in that little desert called the Sahara, and we were able to pull out 600 gallons of water a day from the desert.
That is amazing. You'd think that's the driest place on Earth, and you couldn't pull water from that if you tried, but you can.
But you think about it, we live in Florida on a 20% humidity day. We think that's desert weather down there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's 90 right now.
Yeah, exactly. And the truth is that deserts do have humidity. It's just not, to the level that we're used to. In a place like Florida, we could pull out a couple of thousand gallons of water a day.
I could imagine. That alone can be a moneymaker.
Well, it can be, because someday, and this was the reason why I built this system this way, someday all of the things that we're building as recirculating systems will become valuable. water is the next resource that's likely to become as scarce as oil and as valuable. And our system grows water on, this is the beautiful part about this, you can use as little as 15 times less water to grow certain crops. And even the most water-intensive crops, things like celery and lettuce, use half as much water in our system as any other type of growing, period.
A big cost to farming is water.
It's the huge, gigantic. In fact, you could, all of the home, you could water your lawn, don't do it, but you could water your lawn 24 hours a day, every day. Everybody in the state could. We wouldn't approach the amount of water that is devoted to agriculture.
And this would be, I mean, this is pure water, too. I mean, this would probably be the purest water there is.
It doesn't get any better. We pull it directly out of the air. Now, just like with rain, some things will come down, but it goes through a huge filtration system so that by the time it comes out the other side, it's so pure that you could make beer out of it. I mean, it's that pure.
I like that.
Yeah.
Next to water, I think I like beer the best, you know.
Exactly. Of all the uses of water, that's my favorite. Grow fish and make beer.
Exactly.
And I love fish. And truthfully, here's another thing that we can think that's important. Not only would, if we were able to make lots of these around the state, and truthfully, just food production-wise, every state in the union could hold 500 to 1,000 of these farms and still have room to grow to continue providing food for the country. But we'd be able to do it. Unlike all of the other types of alternative growing systems, this is the only one that actually has a scalability to compete against the large, massive food farms. And the reason I know this is because the original task was to design something that could feed 20,000 to 100,000 soldiers in the middle of the desert forever.
Yeah, wow.
And I know that a system like this in Florida would be very useful because we do have lots of property that's sitting around these cities, and you only need a 5-acre chunk.
Yeah.
And then you can put 20 to 24 people to work on every one of these things.
Wow. Now,
and not just making small amounts of money either. We're talking about, paying $12.50 an hour to the people who pick the produce, handle the produce, up to $16 an hour for the people who are learning how to, to people who fillet the fish. That's a great price for both of those jobs, by the way. And, the business model here is to make small farming a profitable career again.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing. Now, if you're going to franchise this, how much would it take to get into something like this?
Well, it's going to be about the same price as something like a McDonald's franchise. To build one of these from scratch is like $5 million.
Okay.
But the franchise, when we get this up and running, the franchise will build the greenhouses and the building and the solar farm and that sort of stuff. And then for about $3 million, which is about the price of the McDonald's franchise, you'd be able to put one of these up. Now, again, that sounds like a lot of money, but you're capable of generating between $2.5 and over $3 million a year at the production levels we're looking at, which again are very low-level production levels for what we're generating, the high-level products that we make.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do those numbers, even if you did just a fraction of those numbers, you're still talking about a business model that's able to be economically resistant.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. You have no overwhelming land cost bill. You pay only the franchise fee to us for the building itself, which is not that much. You have no electricity costs. You produce electricity. You don't use it. You make electricity.
Mm-hmm.
You have no water costs. You produce water. You don't use it. You make water.
Mm-hmm.
And so you take away all of the things that have made farming not profitable.
Yeah.
And you also take away all the things that have made farming unpredictable.
Yeah.
The only thing we need for this to work is sunshine, and in the state of Florida, that's pretty consistent.
Definitely really consistent. That's unbelievable. Now, when you tried this overseas, did you use this in combat areas?
Well, the design hasn't been used for the military yet. The design was can you solve this problem? If we needed to put 20,000, 50,000 soldiers in the middle of the desert and they had no supplies, how would we support them?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we needed to do was create a recirculating closed system that fed upon itself. So, in other words, you needed to be able to generate ongoing fish supplies by having a breeding program for the fingerlings. You had to have a seed generation program to propagate the plants. But together, once you started this system, it would never need input again. No fuel, no nothing.
Yeah.
It uses no chemicals, no hormones, no fertilizers, no insecticides. And that was basically the military's design parameters. What that did for me when I started looking at it from a consumer's viewpoint or from a commercial viewpoint was, hey, look, this takes the idea of farming and turns it into a real factory.
Yeah.
Where you can say, okay, this is how it runs. In fact, this is our goal. Our goal is to go and find, some high school students, maybe who are in the 4-H club because, they're still out there and tell them, hey, look, here's your choices. You can go spend $200,000 to go get a full ride scholarship to Florida, which is great. Mm-hmm. But after 4 years, you're going to have a BA or a BS degree, and you're going to have to enter into a market that, one, doesn't have any jobs for farmers, or two, you're competing against master's levels and PhDs, perhaps, because everybody's out of work.
Yeah.
Instead, we might be able to provide an internship-type program where they can work with us, earn some money, be in part of a family-type growing environment where they can really learn what it's like, modern techniques of growing food and farming animals for food, and then find some investor who says, hey, look, I want to be able to put one of these things in because I know it's a good investment, and second of all, it's good to establish a long-term supply of food that's not connected to oil.
Yeah.
And this is somebody who really has decided that this is what they want to do for a career. They can run that.
Yeah.
It's the same franchise idea as McDonald's. The only difference is we're making the food, not just...
And I can tell you, folks, that when Lucian has a project like this, I mean, the stuff really works. Back in the 1990s, he invented a piece of exercise equipment that was completely robotic that I still use today, and a marvelous piece of machinery. I have 3 of them in my personal training studio, and virtually no maintenance. The stuff is just indestructible, and it just makes it easier for everybody to exercise, and that's how I started my business. So I know the things that Lucian Randolph comes up with are viable. He's tested them out, and they're ready to go. So very cool.
Thank you.
So
the RoboFlex was one of my favorite projects too. You and I were involved in the early part of that. I still have one myself too.
Yeah, I know you do, and mine are just they're just. When you told me this is going to last 120 years, I said, well, now it's proof. I mean, I've had my machine since since 1996. I think I bought the first one, and they're still the same. I mean, they're working. They're just doing their job, and quietly overnight they just rest, I guess.
Well, I had one, a friend of both of ours, as a matter of fact, Howard out in California had one that sat outside in the salty air for a couple of years, works just fine.
It's amazing. It truly, truly is amazing. Well, now you're looking for investors in this?
Yes, we're at the stage where we're going to build the first pilot plant, the commercial pilot plant here in Florida. And so what we're looking for is the first $5 million investment to build the pilot plant. But that's also going to be the first franchise, so it's a functional working factory that'll be built. And then from there, our goal is to try to reproduce that. There's 3 different markets just in the southern half of the state that are distinct. There's the Tampa market over where you are, East L.A., and then there's the Orlando market, the Mickey Mouse market, and then there's Miami, which is just South America north.
Yeah.
And so each of these markets has a unique flavor, but they all have a need and a desire for fresh and organic, certified and, clean food.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of international chefs down in Miami. They've got the whole, coastal community thing over in Tampa. You've got the big institutional level restaurants that are housed here in Orlando. So each of these places would be able to support several of these franchise models.
We're going to take our last break here, folks. We'll be back with Lucian to wrap things up. And you stick around. You can still call us at 877-927-6648. Please remember to pick up my Health Signals newsletter. Value for value, $10 a month, 2 issues a month. And this is how you stay healthy. So stick around. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now. With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you gain access to each host charts and computer screen as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, Kate Stalter, Dave White, Larry Pesavento, or Victor Jones, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV yet, then visit TFNN.com today to see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
It's that time of year again, and the Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway is back. Every day in June, Monday through Friday, we'll be giving away a Great Panther Silver 1-ounce silver bar, and all you have to do to enter is visit the front page of TFNN.com and fill out your entry. Great Panther Silver and TFNN wishing you a great start to the summer. Sign up today to have a chance to win a 1-ounce silver bar during the Great Panther Silver Summer Silver Giveaway the whole month of June at TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Primal Lifestyle with my guest, Lucian Randolph, and you can reach him through Lucian.tv. That's LUCIAN.tv. Now, Lucian, you have another thing on here that I want to talk about, and that's your Freedom Contract Party, because I was very, very interested in that also.
Yes.
I read the whole thing, and I says, okay, yeah, this is for me.
Oh, okay, good. I was going to ask if you had read it. I wrote a series of essays.
Yeah.
Where I outlined a plan of how the people in the United States could effectively choose to elect new politicians without having to go through the normal processes of, appearing on television and the massive amount of money that's spent on commercials and that sort of stuff, utilizing legal and real techniques, that we're not just making stuff up These are the ideas that I'm suggesting are real. They've been utilized before, and they're legal. And that was one of the key components.
In fact, you mentioned how to legally take back the United States without getting killed or arrested.
Yes, that was the key.
Two important things.
If you don't do that, they call that a revolution, and that's not necessarily where we're going with this. So.
Right.
But the idea was that every state in the union has allowances for write-in candidates. Okay, essentially, the idea is that the people who are on the ballot are not the only people that you have a choice to elect. The way it works in this country is that if enough people say this person is who we want to be in this office, it doesn't matter if that person was listed on the ballot or not. If they're legally eligible, and in certain cases they have to, make sure the paperwork's in place and everything.
Sure.
But if they're legally eligible, you can write in their name, and if they get the number of votes, they win. And this is true all the way up to and including the presidential election. The Electoral College is ethically and statutorily, meaning legally bound, to vote for the person that gets the most votes, no matter who that is. And so what my premise was is that using today's technology, the social aspects of the Internet and the other things that we've seen work in the overseas, the Arab Spring from a couple of years ago, democracy is a funny thing, but it takes people literally getting out into the street to physically change political systems that have become corrupted. You can't change a corrupt system from the inside. That's one of the things that we've learned. And unfortunately what that means for America is that it's probably not possible to elect a solution in which the very first step in the problem is getting elected.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, is that if the nature of getting elected in this country automatically skews the process in such a way that it's no longer working, then you can't get around that. And that's what my idea was. It was like, how could we come up with a system where we could decide as a group of people? And the social media aspect of the Internet would be how you do that. It only takes, an X number of votes in any state, in any region of that state, to pass or to vote for anything.
Yeah.
And if we all got together and decided who we wanted to vote for, and then carried a list of paper, into the booth, we could vote for whoever we wanted to.
Yeah. Now, how can people read about this? Where can they read about?
Well, you can go to freedomcontract.org.
What was that again?
Take you, freedomcontract.org. No spaces. .org. And that'll take you directly to the site where we have the essays listed, and there's a PDF link there where you can download the essays. I'm getting ready to put the essays out as a free ebook too.
And before we go, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you if they want to hear about the system we talked about and this?
Well, they can reach me at my email address. The easiest email address is Lucian Randolph. That's Lucian Randolph, RANDOLPH.
Great Basin Gold is a mining company.
at gmail.com.
Okay, thanks. We're out of time, Lucian. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk soon.
You got it, man. Thanks
you.
A lot.
Bye-bye.